If you're hearing my voice, my name is Nancy Oakley, and I'm the Education and Events Manager here at Citrus Valley Association of Realtors. So welcome, welcome, welcome to our first ever Zoom webinar class. And thank you so much for joining us. Any questions that you have regarding education offerings, the Citrus Valley Association of Realtors can be directed to me. My email is noakley@cvar.net. You can direct any questions regarding education offerings with Citrus Valley Association of Realtors to me, and I can assist you with that. John Reyes is with Social Network. He is the CEO, president, starter, founder, extraordinaire social media guru today, and he's going to be explaining to you anything and everything to do with a social media presence, how to use social media, build your business, especially times right now that it's so important to have a presence with everything that's going on amidst this virus. With that, thank you again so much. I'm going to turn it over to John Reyes with Social Networks. Thanks, John.
Awesome, Nancy. Thank you so much for having me on this call today. And for all of you who are watching this, I could assure you that by the end of this presentation, you are going to walk away with some things that you can apply directly to your business and endure some sort of positive results when it comes to branding and or simply enhancing your communication. And I assure you this because by way of me conducting this presentation, I can tell you I'm not new when it comes to breaking down ways that you as an agent can leverage digital technology, social media, and video, as Nancy has said. In fact, our company has been beating the drum for well over a decade, and the California Association of Realtors had selected our company to develop the official social media training curriculum more than 7, maybe even 8 years ago. It's been such a long time that I've actually forgotten about it. Now, I should be on a plane, literally right now, going to Savannah, Georgia for an International Realty World Conference. But unfortunately, we're not doing that, of course, because of the times we're in. And like Nancy mentioned, if there was ever a time for you as a professional real estate agent just to learn how to evolve and leverage tools and resources that we have, especially during this trying time, really the time is now. And I would say that the time is now because our world, to some degree, has been flipped on its head a bit. But at the same time, with every change, every drastic change, does indeed come opportunity. So with that being said, there's a couple of things that I want to be breaking down for you today. And so if you are following along and if you have anything to take any notes on this presentation, I would advise that you do so. Maybe you can go ahead and use and leverage your cell phone, or if you have some paper and you want to take notes the old school way, that's fine as well. But I'm going to be breaking down for you social media the millennial way. So here's what we're going to be breaking down. Number one, I'm going to be talking about Facebook and Instagram. Like, how do you leverage Facebook and Instagram like a millennial? So that way your brand appears more innovative, you're more modern, up to date, and at the same time, you could be a better communicator because let's face it, where are the millennials? They're online, they're on social media, specifically Instagram. Also, we're going to break down some strategies on how you can leverage hashtags. And we're also going to break down using your Facebook business page for business, but that's your actual business page. And then the benefits of social media in an ever-changing market. And then finally, Q&A, which is one of my favorite things to do. Please note that I am actively out there involved in the world of real estate as well. So I am constantly dealing and meeting with both buyers, both sellers. And so if you have any questions that are specific to your business, feel free to throw them our way. Nancy's going to be assisting us with this because that's going to be a huge help. If any of you are on Instagram, I would highly advise that you add me on Instagram. So pull out your phones right now and go ahead and do so. And the reason I would say to add me is because we're in the process, and when I say it's me, myself, as well as my sister-in-law. She's a practicing licensed realtor, has had her license since 2007, but didn't start actually going on out and generating and closing deals until the end of this last quarter, the last quarter of 2019. And she's generated a significant amount of business, and a big part of it has been with Instagram. So we share a lot of the tactics and strategies that we employ, and I'm going to be breaking that down for you. So pull out your Instagram account, add me, JD Reyes01. And again, the things that we do with the intent to drive business, but also I have a lot of real estate agents that follow my account. So I will also want to share different things, tactics and strategies that we do so that way you can see them. So now let's talk about the importance of why should we even engage with social media? Like, what's the big reason as to why? Like, do we really need to do this? And the reason I say this is because we know that there's a lot of real estate agents that have given some pushback on digital technology, not so much now. And in my opinion, the Citrus Valley Association of Realtors has continued to be at the forefront, really a leader with leveraging digital technology. And as a result, they've done a fantastic job with promoting and offering education, not just in person, but also online. We've been extremely impressed with it. And we've also had the opportunity to do some cool things with the Citrus Valley Board, as well as RE events. And in November, we held an event which was broadcasted to real estate agents all across the country. And it was right at your local board in Glendora. So I say that because you have the leadership of Mark Epstein and his team, which has been at the forefront for the real estate community. But now you as a realtor, here's why you need to embrace this. Simply because people are obsessed with their cell phone. It's pretty straightforward and it's pretty simple. People are obsessed with their cell phones. They walk around like a bunch of zombies. And you may think, really, John, are they really walking around like a bunch of zombies? And the answer to that is yes, indeed they are. So now we want to be able to capitalize on it, because if people are looking at their phones constantly like this, why not just promote our brand and our business where people already focus their attention? And this is a huge opportunity for you as an agent. And before I go into the strategies, let me break this down. If there's one area where I feel most agents miss the mark, is they don't truly convey to a buyer and or seller the importance of leveraging digital technology, social media in the first place. If I'm talking to a seller, I'm telling them, and this is what I would learn to do if I were you, be able to deliver this message in a very clear and concise way. And also just learn the phraseology. And what I mean by that is that if I'm speaking to a seller, I tell them the majority of most home buyers are actively looking for real estate on their own, from their own device. They're not as dependent upon a real estate agent like they once were to send them listings. In fact, when a buyer wants to buy a home, I mean, they're taking more bathroom breaks while they're at work so they can get the latest updates on Zillow. And I say that kind of tongue in cheek, but most of the time the client responds favorably. They might chuckle at it and they're like, yeah, you know what, you're right, they do. And that's what I tell them. That's exactly what we capitalize on. We promote where people are looking the most, directly on their cell phones. So now that I brought that up, the other thing is this: we just want to be proactive in making sure that we're not just simply promoting, but we're promoting the very things that get people's attention, and that's making their listings look great, look good. Right before I jumped on the call with all of you, and this is just to make this message 100% relevant, I held an open house a couple weeks ago, and I had met this lady that had come to our open house. She didn't really want to engage in conversation too much, but I was able to have a back and forth with her, and I was able to deliver enough value where I was able to get her phone number, get her name, and I found out that she had a home that she was interested in selling and buying a new one. I got her address, so by the time that she walked out, I had all of that info, and I was able to communicate with her. I met her on Sunday. On Monday, we ended up on a phone call. We basically did the listing presentation right over the phone. We went over everything that we needed to go over. And she says, John, call me on the 23rd because I'm going to be ready to list my home. I followed up with her, connected with her on the 23rd. She asked me to call her today. So I called her today, and she says, our house is done, meaning that they had done some rehabs. They're set, ready to roll. But she's just unsure. What should she do? And I was able to give her enough information where she felt confident in my response. And she says, the moment that you give me the green light, I'm ready to roll on this. Basically, what I told her is that right now, what I would advise is let's just wait for things to settle down and allow us to be able to do our job, show homes and all that. But it doesn't mean that we can't start the process. We can start the process with really the planning and strategizing of what it is that we're going to do in order to get our home listed and all of that. And she felt really confident with that. But I go back to this. That lady, when I connected with her, I was proactive in communicating with her. She ended up doing her homework on her own. She went online, she Googled my name, she found video content, she found my social media accounts. So when we ended up connecting on Monday, she had already validated for me that her exact words were this: you're legit. And that just made the conversation so much easier moving forward. So now let's break down. What are a couple of key things that you can do as a real estate agent in order to make sure that you're more effective at promoting and delivering your brand? And I'm going to now pull up my Facebook page. So let's go ahead and pull up my Facebook page here. So Nancy, just to confirm, you can see my Facebook page. Is that correct? Hey, Nancy, I don't know if maybe your line's muted, but looks like
Yeah, we can see it, John. We can see
yeah.
it.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so if you're taking any notes on this, guys, here's what we're gonna do. Right now, I am on my personal Facebook page. This is not my business account. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you some key things that we can do in order to make sure that our personal page is set up the right way. So for my account, in the top left corner, you just saw me click on my photo. So this is my personal account. Number one, we wanna make sure that we have an updated profile picture. Your profile picture, this is my opinion, okay? So I'm telling you, but I got a ton of homework behind this. So I'm not telling you without having this validated to some degree, but for the sake of time, I don't have the time to go into all the specifics as to why. I'm just gonna give you the answers to the test. I'm not gonna give you necessarily the complex formula. Your photo that you have on your personal Facebook page should be consistent with your other branding elements and assets as well. So my profile photo here is the same photo that I also have on my Instagram account, which is the same photo that I have on my business card, which is the same photo that I use on my postcard, which is the same photo that I use on my listing presentation handout. So we want to be able to establish and maintain brand continuity. So again, for all of you taking notes on this, want to make sure that we have an updated profile picture, something that is inviting, something that's professional, and something that's going to be used consistently across the board. The other thing as well is that we're allowed to have a cover photo on our personal page. So for me, I'm promoting social networks, and this says, finally an online marketing solution that works. And I have a message that I want to convey here. What I want to convey for this here on Facebook is I want to convey the fact that I'm out there presenting, providing trainings, and it allows me to establish somewhat of a story to say, I do this on a consistent basis. So you'll notice that my cover photo, it has my company name, and then there's a blurred out image of a crowd. So for you as a real estate agent, what I would do is to make sure that you have some imagery there, which is relevant to real estate. And maybe that's even some sort of a photo or a collage of your local area, local community. If you service a Southern California area, there's so many different images that we can leverage in order to really personify the fact that we are an agent in this great market. We have real estate agents that might be more focused on the beach or more high-end real estate. So again, the imagery would just be somewhat consistent and or relevant. So you don't need to overthink this. There's a lot of royalty-free images that you can find on the internet. And there's an app that's called WordSwag, 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 which is available for both your iOS, that's iPhone, as well as your iPad, and also Droid. And they have royalty-free images, and they allow you to add text, just like I added on my image here. They allow you to add text, different typography, different look, different layout, and they'll even automatically format it for your Facebook page. So they make it so simple and so easy. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is this. Now that I have the established look and I have some professionalism here, is you want to make sure that you build out your bio. So if you look on over here on the left side, you'll see where it says edit bio. And if I go through my bio here, I put CEO and president of social networks. Then I have some things. I talk about where I went to school, studied general management program at Cal Poly Pomona, went to JP High School, lives in Rancho. So our advisement is to take the time to go in there and to fill that out as best as you can. Now, okay, so we talked about the look and the layout. I just had a conversation with a real estate agent today, and they have a really good brand, but they're in the process of really building this brand. It's somewhat new. It's not something that's overly established. So what I mean by that is this, is when I was on the call this morning, I was reinforcing the importance of brand continuity. You want to make sure that you look at yourself to say, I am the marketing director of John Reyes Incorporated. And it's my job to make sure that everything that we do online, everything that we do in person is going to be 100% relevant to my brand. So it's either going to showcase me as a professional and that I have brand standards, or I'm not. So now that we take the time to have the good looking photo, the good looking cover photo, now it's going to come down to content, because at the end of the day, Facebook and Instagram, they're so similar. So when I talk about Facebook and Instagram and social media strategies, there's certain things that I can discuss that are universal. It doesn't matter if it's Facebook or if it's Instagram. But when I'm going to give you some universal things here, here's my advisement. Number one, you don't want to post on your social media accounts, your personal and or business, or your Instagram, things that are going to create conflict amongst your market. We know, especially during a time like now, it's very political. unless you have the book of business where you don't mind if you alienate people, which is not most of us, we want to make sure that we are promoting things that we would feel comfortable having discussions and conversations with our clients face to face. So I would advise stay away from the political things, stay away from conversations that are going to make people feel uneasy. And it's not like you have to be somebody that's fake. It's more so just about if you were to go to a networking event, or if you were going to go to a friend's house or a client's house, would you engage in conversation about this? And if the answer is no, then we would say just hold it back from social media, because people will judge you about it for sure. There's no question about it that they will. And we do have some clients that are like, you know what, I don't care. This is who I am. And I say, by all means, at the end of the day, it's your business. Do whatever you want. But what we want to do is to make sure that we have the greatest opportunity to build and establish a brand that has an impact on people, to help people buy and to help people sell. Now, the type of content that we would advise that you post on your personal, we talk about personal, post personal things. If you're going on out to the park with your family, or if you're going on out to maybe when we are able to travel once again, if you're going on out to an amusement park, Disneyland, whatever, something that's more family related, maybe you're taking your kid or your grandkid to their soccer game, take a photo, post that. People love those type of postings. People, they really can connect to it because that's something that they can relate with. They do that type of stuff as well. So I would say for every business post, at least post 2 to 3 personal posts. So there's actually going to be a combination of personal as well as business postings on your personal page. Now, you might have heard people say you're not supposed to post business stuff on your personal page. And I've heard that since we started using Facebook. But the reality is that your personal account tends to be more favorable with connecting with people within your sphere of influence, your family members, your friends, that sort of thing, because the business page is more of a pay to play model. You got to pay Facebook in order for you to be able to promote to people. So it's just a balance. You don't want to be overly annoying and be that real estate agent that's always talking about that you have another listing, that sort of thing, because the reality is nobody really cares. So it's not so much you being a person that's broadcasting your results, but it's more so you telling a story. So for me, I posted this last night, 14 hours ago. And if you look at what I posted here, here's a video, and I have my hat on backwards, I have a sweatshirt on, but this is done with an intent. Part of my brand is a sense of casualness. I'm not somebody that dresses up. I'm not going to show up to an event in a suit and a tie. It's just not my thing. I want people to focus more on what I say rather than the way that I look. But it's also something that I've been very diligent about building for years. So it's not an overnight type thing, but it's more so about my ability to go on out and to deliver a message in a very clear and concise way and make people buy into it. And this is for both you as real estate agents, the real estate community, as well as clients as well. I tend to have a much more casual approach, and it's just part of my thing because I'm able to speak to somebody almost immediately as if we've been lifelong friends. I make the client feel comfortable. The moment the client feels a sense of comfort, then we're connected. Now, I don't show up at meetings like this. Don't get me wrong. I don't show up in a hat backwards and all that. But this was different. This was a setting. It was late at night. It was 11 o'clock at night. And it was really about us letting people join us with this gentleman that I'm interviewing, where we have a lot of conversations where we will have beers together. So we're just inviting any outsiders that want to join on in and listen to our conversation. That's what we're doing. So that's what I'm showing here. It's kind of like a virtual happy hour. We're having a beer here. And my title of this post was this: I knew about the market decline a month before it happened. Want to know how? And then I give a breakdown. What am I discussing? COVID-19, real estate, stock, and business talk. I posted this 14 hours ago. And with that being said, I have 22 comments. I have 2 shares. I have 30 some likes on this post so far. And more importantly, I have a ton of independent conversations, people that have texted me and or sent private messages that relate specifically to this post. I had real estate agents just thanking me for our insight. The person that I'm interviewing here is somebody that is an extremely accomplished business professional, has a couple companies, has sold a company, and is an active investor. And we were together at a brewery, and he had told me about a month before our market decline that we were about to have a significant market decline. And I didn't really understand the what. So I'm like, tell me how, I don't get it. And when he broke it down for me, it was unbelievable how it all took place. So again, for you as an agent, post some personal stuff, but you also can fit in business stuff as well. And here's how to not be annoying. Share the story of the event rather than just sharing, for example, I got another listing. Maybe you share the specifics of that story. Was it a listing that somebody else couldn't sell that you've now had the opportunity to take over so you could help the client sell? Is it a military client? Maybe is it a first responder? Or is there something special, unique about the home? And every home, every situation has a hook. It's just our job to really establish that creative to find it. So for me, I sat there and I wrote a couple of different postings and I deleted my message. I wrote something else and I deleted it again. And then I decided to move forward with, I knew about the market decline a month before it happened. That was my hook. So for you, when you're posting on social media, you do want to take a little bit more time and don't just do something and post without thinking and being methodical about it, because you got to keep in mind, everything that you post online is going to be a direct representation of your business. It's going to be a direct representation of your brand. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up my actual Instagram account as well. This is my profile. I have 353 posts here. I have 2,600 followers and I'm following 2,300. If you follow me, I do my best to follow you. And you'll see that just like we set up our Facebook bio, there's also a bio for us here. It's a little bit different the way that it's displayed, but I put Cal Poly Bronco, so that's consistent with what I had on my Facebook page. CEO of Social Networks, consistent as well. Real estate technology speaker, Apple fanatic. I do trainings for the Apple retail stores in Southern California, so that's why I put that. Entrepreneur, Anaheim Ducks fan as well. So now I'm just giving a little bit more insight on my personal side. I love the Anaheim Ducks. Hockey is my favorite sport. And I put dad of 2 Yorkies, and then I actually put my website as well. So take the time to make sure that your profiles are built out on both. Now, a couple of key things that I'm going to point out about Instagram. There's this thing that we can do on both Instagram as well as on Facebook, and it's called stories. Now, stories is something that is really effective. If I told you where I generate the majority of our leads, it's through our stories. And so what stories is it gives you a chance where you can post something, a photo, you can post a video clip, and it will stay online for 24 hours. That's it. And after 24 hours, then it's deleted. So if I posted something today, it's 11:26 a.m. At 11:27 a.m. tomorrow, you won't see it. So it really kind of forces us to stay connected, to stay engaged, and it kind of keeps things moving at somewhat of at a rapid pace. And the reason I say this is because if I'm going to go hold an open house, or if I'm going to go show properties, I will take a photo, I'll record a quick video, I'll post it on my story, and the stories are broken down into 15-second segments. And the idea is that people, when they're connected to me on social media, they can click on my story, and I'm going to show you what that means right now. They can watch it, and then they can engage with me. They can send me a private message or something like that. Now, remember, my brand is something that I want people to be able to relate to. I don't hide the fact that I love smoking cigars, and I probably drink a little bit, too much beer, more than what I should. At least that's what my wife says. But I post that online. But people are also able to relate with that as well. So I'll have back and forth conversations with clients about it, and I'll share a story with you guys. And first, let me show you the story. Let me show you my story. Then I'm going to share with you a story that was 100% responsible for some significant business right here in the city of Rancho Cucamonga. So I'm going to click on my photo here. And when I do, I'm going to lower this down here. You'll see that we're here at my house. And look, I could ask a question. Is this appropriate for the training today? And I'm going to say, yes, it is, because this is just the reality of life. We're bored, right? We're at home. We have these challenges that people are creating, and these challenges that people are creating is they're saying, hey, look, spread the cheer, chug a beer. Somebody tagged me in the post. I posted that, and I had a buddy of mine, so we posted that as well. Then we tagged other people to engage. So I'm not embarrassed by this at all, because I'll post that I'm having a drink. I'll post that I'm having 2, maybe even 3, that I'm slamming one, but I'm not going to post a video or a photo of me hugging a toilet. So there's a very big difference. I'm not going to post something that's going to be an embarrassment to my brand. So I say this to you because our business, the business world, has become so much more casual. And if you can't recognize this in politics, then you're probably just not paying attention to what's going on in the world. It has become so much more casual. Now, not to the point, again, where you're going to post things that you're going to regret later, but I have no shame in posting what I posted there. Let me tell you why. I received a message from somebody in the city of Rancho Cucamonga, happens to be a bankruptcy attorney. he had seen some post of me smoking cigars. Then he sees a video that has no editing whatsoever. The audio's okay. We're at an open house. We're walking through the home, so the phone's shaking a little bit. And all we're saying is, hey, we're holding an open house today. Wanted to give you some key details about this property. We talked about the acacia wood flooring. We talked about the open layout in a super small condo, 964 square feet. We talked about the upgraded countertops, the beautiful glass tile for the backsplash, and the home had a lot of animals. So we showed the video of some turtles outside. And we just said like, hey, this is what we're doing. We're out here looking to get this home sold. We didn't even invite people over. We didn't say, come on over to the open house, because I really didn't think anybody was gonna watch that video and then run on over to the open house. But in short, what ended up happening is he saw that video and he had sent me a message. He invited me to his home, which at first I thought was a little weird. I was like, okay, this guy's inviting me to his house. And I was thinking, there's really not, I don't know what he wants to talk about, because he really didn't even tell me, but that's fine. So I went on out to his house and he gave me a tour of his home. Beautiful home, has 12 cars in his driveway. And he had said, hey, listen, I follow you on social media. I see your stuff and I see that you like cigars. So he offered me a cigar. We sat outside, we had a cigar, had some of his, spirits, his whiskey, which I don't even like. But he says, I've been following you online. I see the stuff that you do. I have personally referred 50 closed transactions to a real estate agent who's no longer hungry. They don't answer they're not as responsive. They don't answer my calls like they used to. And I'm getting a little frustrated with it. I'm looking for somebody else. And I really love what you promote online. And I'd like to know if you'd like to work with me. And I'm thinking, hell yeah, of course I would love to work with you. And we engaged in a conversation. So said, yes, here's who we are. Here's what we do. Not even 10 days later, he called me up and says, hey, John, I found this building that I want to buy. I'm already on the way there. I already called the realtor. He's going to be meeting me there, the listing agent. I'd like to know if you'd like to go with me. So I'm like, cool, let's go. We go on out. We go to the property. He introduces me as his agent. And he asked me after we did our walk around if we would like to write up the contract for him. And indeed we did. It was a commercial building. It was $1 million purchase right here in the city of Rancho Cucamonga off of Archibald and Foothill. If you guys are familiar with the area, that Yamaha building. But that deal was 100% procured based off of social media. Somebody who in my sphere of influence, in some way, shape or form and or capacity, we connected, somebody within the local area, somebody within the business of bankruptcy connected with me. And I didn't even know that he was actively watching my content. But it was enough to the point where he felt, hey, I could relate to you, you could relate to me. He saw my beer post because he told me about it. So he assumed that I like whiskey. I did not. But my point in saying that, it was just a relatable connection. And now, not only did we close on that building for him, we have right now his $582,000 home that he originally tried to sell. We have it in escrow right now. And he just had contacted me 48 hours ago, letting me know that there's a couple of additional properties that he wants to pick up. Now, I can tell you, is that an isolated case? The answer is no. I'm hearing more and more of these stories from real estate agents that are saying, look, this person hit me up on social media. They hit me up specifically on Instagram. Most millennials, the number one app amongst millennials right now is Instagram. It was Snapchat, but Mark Zuckerberg is so forward thinking that he ended up mimicking a lot of the things that made Snapchat so popular that the popularity of Snapchat fell. And a lot of the millennials that were using Snapchat moved on over to Instagram. So you as a real estate agent should and need to be on Instagram, and you want to put yourself in a position where you're able to really showcase your brand value. Now I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to show you guys a couple of things here. As I'm showing you, these are my postings. So I do a lot of stories, and I would say that I'm not as aggressive in my postings. I'm very selective on my postings, and I could do a better job for sure. On my stories, I'm really aggressive on. But this is a photo of my mother. So it's just me and my mom, and I got 115 likes on this post. And my story here was my one and only, my mama. I knew at a young age, without a doubt, I was like such a lucky person to have her as my mom. And then in conversations with people, what we would talk about is I just think my mom and I look so much alike. Has nothing to do with real estate, but it's something that people can relate to. And then I have a photo here of me and my business partner, a photo of me and my wife. And then this is something that we did for charity. And we slept out in the streets in order to raise money for a nonprofit organization called Covenant House. And this is a top producing real estate agent, also CVAR member. And I just said, I want to sincerely thank those who took action when I reached out for a donation. and I'm just sharing what it is that we're doing. So we slept in the streets of Hollywood to raise money for a nonprofit that helps homeless youth. And then I created a video and I posted that on my story where I have these guys also talking and they're sharing their experience. If for their first time, it was cold, it's uncomfortable. There's no way that I could even, sleep for a second. And that's the idea is with social media, specifically Instagram and Facebook, it gives you an opportunity to post content that allows you to be able to further not only enhance your brand, but I would say also too, at the same time, team, it allows you to bring value to those who are listening to you. So that brings me to my next point. So I'm going to come on back over here and I'm going to now pull back up my PowerPoint for everybody to see here, because here's what I want to go over with you. Okay. We talked about how to use Facebook and Instagram like a millennial. And I broke down some key ways: personal and business. Tell a story. What I mean by tell a story is, again, find that hook. What's the special thing about you closing that home? Don't say you closed a home. Maybe talk about the connection. I created this video. And I have this video where I let this guy know your offer was accepted. If you guys would see the response, I've had real estate agents listen to his response, and some people even get teary-eyed because this guy wanted this home so bad that he couldn't believe it. Like, he's like, you have no idea what you've done for me, John. He's like, I'm going to make this up to you, and I'm gracious that he's allowing me to be able to represent him, to work with him. But like the roles were flipped. But this was a home that had just hit the market in 4 days, had multiple offers. I know that there was a ton of people viewing the home because when we were leaving, there was another realtor already standing in the driveway. His clients were getting off the van to look at the home as well. And the seller was even a little bit tired because the realtor did not hold an open house. It was more so the seller allowing everybody to do a tour on their home. And the seller even told me, man, it's been busy. And we believe it because we saw it for our own eyes. And despite that home getting multiple offers, we were able to get our offer secured, and we were able to eliminate the whole back and forth, even having to deal with multiple counters. But that's something that we also let people know. This is what we do. We are proactive and establishing and building a relationship with the real estate agent. We sell our value. We sell the strength of our lender that's involved in the transaction. We got our lender involved in the transaction. So I was able to have the finite. What's the end story of that? The end story was that client being so happy, almost practically in tears, because his offer got accepted. And of course we closed. So we created some content for that as well. So that comes to my next point. And Nancy, I just wanted to ask you, how are we doing on time on this right now?
We're good. We have about an hour left. I think we're slotted till 12:30, so we're doing good. Just everybody, just wanted to remind you that if you have any questions, please feel free to use the Zoom group chat. If you type in a question, everyone will see it, but as John said, I will interrupt him and ask your question so he can give you the answer to everybody. So just make sure you utilize that Zoom group chat option, and in your screen there, just at the bottom of the screen, just select chat, and the chat box will pop up on the right hand side, and you can type any questions that you may have for John. John, you have any questions for us?
I would say if there's no questions that have come on in, no. I mean, but yeah, definitely I would encourage each and every one of you, please, this is your time. This is an opportunity to ask anything that's relevant to what we're discussing. And I would even say if it has to do with marketing overall, I'm totally cool with that as well. And I share these stories really from the heart because if anything, my business is real estate agents. That's what it is. Our marketing firm has been built in bringing value to the real estate community. And I can tell you that right now, and I shared this with the CVAR team earlier today, we're busy. You would think, and I had anticipated somewhat of a stall, a complete pause on our business just because of where we're at right now with the world. And that's actually been the complete opposite. If anything, we've been very busy with a lot of top producing real estate agents that are using this opportunity to build their brand, to be more aggressive with video content. And I'm talking about agents that own their market, or they do really well in building they've built a great business within their area. So this is where we don't take our foot off the gas. If anything, we double down on it, we triple down on it. And we do that because the majority of most will take a step back.
Right, right. I think you're correct. And just from our side, being at the association level, we're not stopping either. this is a great opportunity for us as well, and for all of our members to go ahead and get a social media presence. And we're so grateful that you're able to join us today to give us those options on, and everyone can see our topics that we're talking about today, and give us those options and tell us how you're doing it and how they can do it and modify it for them. We do have a couple questions coming in. First question from Tammy here. She said she may have missed something in the beginning. Do you have 2 Facebook pages, 1 personal and 1 business?
Hey, Tammy, so that's a great question. So I have a personal page, and I'll say that's our bread and butter right there. That is the page where we tend to get our most engagement. That's the page where we tend to be able to connect more effectively, efficiently with our clients, our family members, our friends. And that is the resource in order to further establish top of mind awareness. Now, at the same time, the business page is where we're more aggressive in running advertisements. If I post something on my business page, there's a really small chance that anybody's going to see it unless I pay. If you look at the stock of Facebook, that's one of the reasons why they're valued at what they're valued, because they have a pay-to-play model for their business page. So for your business page, what we are finding to be very effective is a promotion of homes themselves. If I have a house, I'll promote that house. I'll create a video for that house. I talk a lot about in my trainings, because I do a lot of different types of trainings. And one training that I do, which is a very popular training, is a listing presentation class. I literally walk agents through a very structured, methodical approach to delivering your listing presentation that is really universal. It doesn't matter if it's a $200,000 home, condo, or if it's a $2 million property. It's all the same thing. We might make a couple of adjustments, but my point in saying that is that I talk a lot about leveraging the asset in which you have, and the home is the asset. So I do a really killer video, a great video for the home. And then I do professional photos. I don't take photos on a cell phone. I make sure that it's somebody who knows how to take photos 10 times better than me. And I take those assets and I run 2 independent Facebook ad campaigns. I promote the video on one, I promote the photos on the other. And then what happens is that people will engage and they'll ask questions about the home. How much is this home, or when can I see it? And that's one of our top lead generators right there. And most people want to know, how much money do we spend? I put $100 into each ad, put $100 into the photos, I put $100 into the video. We've gotten real estate agents that will get people that hit them up and say, I saw your video. Is this the type of marketing you do for all your listings? If I had $1 for every time that I heard a real estate agent say that, then I could tell you I'd have a lot of money there. So again, it's just people are online, and when they see something cool and new, it gets them excited. And I have a story, I won't go into it now, but one listing turned into 8 sides of business because of that continuous repeat process of having one asset, the house, and then creating multiple ways for us to promote video, photos. So, and Tammy, to answer your question, Facebook business page is going to be more ads. Your personal is going to be the combination of both business as well as personal. What other questions do we have there, Nancy?
We have another one from Linda. She wanted to know if you can go into recommendations for business versus personal Facebook pages, but I think you kind of touched on that as well, having both and utilizing both with your business.
I'm going to give you guys, yeah, I did. And for that, let me add some clarity to this as well. There's really a crossover between your business page and your personal page. There's a crossover. So sometimes when I post on my business page, I'll also post it on my personal account as well. But if anything, here's a key takeaway. On your business page, focus on promoting your listings, but at the same time, be aggressive in promoting educational content, especially right now. So I have this one agent that I'm working with, and I even told her, I said, listen, I want to help you from going from being a newer realtor who is totally willing to do, where we fast forward in a year and then we talk about the brand and the business that you've built. But here's one strategy that I gave her yesterday. And for all of you, I would highly advise, and feel free, when we're done with this, send me an Instagram message. If you guys wanted to engage a little bit more one-on-one and talk about how to do this, I'd be more than happy to tell you. But I would create a series for buyers and a series for sellers right now. You create maybe 6 or 7 videos, and here's how I'd start it. Chances are, if you're watching this video, you're thinking about buying a home. Hi, my name is John Reyes with Hire Realty, and what we've done is we've broken down and created a series of 6 videos in order to walk you through the home buying process. Our goal with these videos is to break down the steps that are involved in you buying a home from the beginning to the end. We're big believers that the more that you know, the more you're empowered to make the right decision for you and your family. And if at any time, if you would like to engage in a one-on-one conversation, then please feel free to reach on out to me. Otherwise, I hope you enjoy this video series. That is a great, short, concise video that you can promote. And then the second video would be, bam, the first step. The first step in buying a home, and then you could talk about the importance of getting pre-qualified. Then you can talk about the home search. Then you can talk about the offer submission. Then you can talk about our offers accepted, the now what, the contingency periods, the homework. So you can do this for both buyers. You can do this for both sellers. Since we are being forced to be locked up in our home, why not do it? And here's all you need. Have something like this. And Nancy, you can see me, right, on the video?
Yes, I can see you.
Perfect.
We all can see you.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah.
This is a tripod. It's a tripod that we got for like 15 bucks. I heard that you can get tripods like this too at the Five Below. Another broker was telling me that for 5 bucks. But I bought this one and I love this one. You know, it's a very sturdy one. And then your cell phone, just use your cell phone and you can put your cell phone right in here. And then you can just set it down, hit the record button, make sure that you speak so that way it has good, clean audio. And you don't even need to do any crazy editing, if any editing at all. Take these videos, put them on, set up and create a YouTube channel, put these videos on your YouTube channel. And when you put them on your YouTube channel, YouTube allows you to create what they call playlists. So you can create a playlist for buyers and a playlist for sellers. And then what you can do is you have one link, one URL that you can actually send to a client, a prospect, and you're walking them through the process. So we've been doing this. I like to do things and try them out to see how people respond. And then when I see the clients respond like really well, like, oh my gosh, this is awesome, or I love this, or I sent this to my friend. And the deal that I told you about that we closed, that was a referral because of exactly that. We had closed the deal with a client. We had sent him the videos. He sent it to his father, and his father ended up connecting with us because his father had seen our videos. So what I'll do is I'm going to hold any other questions, Nancy, if that's cool with you. I just want to break down hashtags real quick, and then I want to talk about some video ideas because this is all relating to point number 4, which is the benefits of social media in our changing market. And then back to the Facebook business page. You have your personal, you have your business page. And here's a strategy for you. My name, John Reyes. If you Google my name, there's too many results to have to fight and to deal with. So I added my middle initial, John D. Reyes. And I did that to go from 80 million search results to a lot less. So this is something for you. Establish brand continuity. Define how you want to promote your name. So if it's going to be your first and last name, great. If it's going to be a brand, however you do it, fine. But you want to be consistent. You should have your name very similarly. So for example, John D. Reyes, that would be my personal account. Then my Facebook business page, it would be John D. Reyes Real Estate, because I want to be able to establish a connection there. John D. Reyes, John D. Reyes. The difference here is I added the word real estate. Now when I have my YouTube channel, John D. Reyes Real Estate. When I have my Google Places account, John D. Reyes Real Estate. All of a sudden, now when somebody goes online and they Google your name, you control, you influence the search results the right way. Then you get people to be like, wow, you know what? You're legit. I showed a home in Orange County to Princess Jasmine from Disneyland. You know, it's a young couple and I'm showing them this home. And the young guy, and when I say he's young, he's like 25 years old. In my mind, that's like really young. And he says, man, you're legit. Second time I've heard this within the last 10 days. He's like, you are legit. And then Princess Jasmine says, my husband loves you. He is so impressed by you. And I'm like, okay, I know I'm good, but I didn't know I was that good. I haven't even talked to you. We barely met face to face. It was an online lead. So when I found out about it, what it was is they went on the internet, they did a Google search, and they found a bunch of video content about me. And then that made him feel a sense of confidence. So we're in the process. We're working with him right now. Obviously, with everything going on with Disneyland closing down, it's created some hiccups and challenges, but we're working through. But my whole point in sharing that with you is that it just makes it easier for you to be able to stand out. And it makes it so much easier that when you say something, people believe it. I think our industry is a little too plagued with people not delivering messages that offer true and legitimate substance. Just had a situation, and this is a little tad off topic, but it actually relates to what we're going to discuss because I'll circle back on it. But I had a lender recently reach out to me, a lender that's a really good friend of mine. And she had said, hey, John, listen, we got clear to close for a client, but the client is now a bit unnerved because of what's going on in the market. So they want to cancel their escrow. They called and told the realtor, and the realtor's response was, Susie, why would you do this? We're already at the end. And I just shook my head like this, because my thought is that's such an emotional response that offers no value to the client that's feeling a sense of being unnerved. And basically, it's almost like cheap salesman talk to be like, why would you do this? We've done all this work. Nobody cares about the work. At the end of the day, nobody cares about the work. We want to cry about the work that we, put in. That's why they say, go cry to your mom, because other than that, nobody else cares. It's not about the work that we put in. It's about that this client has a legitimate concern, and I have the same concern as well. And I always think I'm going to advise my clients in the same capacity that I would advise my family members. So in learning a little bit more about the situation, the client is actually taking advantage of down payment assistance. The client also got their rate locked in when the rates were really good in comparison to where they're at right now. So by way of having that conversation, the loan officer was able to explain and to convey, number one, down payment assistance, you're taking advantage of it. It's here today with all of the money that's being paid by the state and the government. I mean, we have no crystal ball, but who's to know that the down payment assistance programs are even going to be here tomorrow? And at the same time, the actual, the requirements could always change. They could always adjust. They adjusted not too long ago. So that was point number one. Point number two was the fact that your rate's locked in. The client was thinking about holding off in case we had a drop in values. So she was able to explain your rate's low. So even if you were able to get that property at a 5% discount, the fact is that you have a rate of X. So if we looked at over the long time of the loan, and if you kept this loan for 10 years or what have you, she balanced out the mathematics. And then the point number three was a lot of people who are being scaled back from work, they may now no longer be able to buy. They may hold off on that, which now increases the amount of renters. So if we're increasing the amount of renters, potentially rents go up because of this. And if you lose that down payment assistance program, that might put you in a bind, because if you didn't have the money today, I mean, really, how confident do you feel that you'll have it tomorrow? And the client responded and said, you know what, that actually makes sense. And in the text, she says, that makes a lot of sense. My husband and I will jump on the line with you later today. They jumped on the line, and guess what? That client felt a sense of comfort in moving forward on the transaction. But that client specifically had called out the fact that they did not like the response from the real estate agent. They felt that it was too emotional of a response, and they weren't looking for emotion. They were looking for a sense of comfort to be brought by education. This goes back to social media, the benefits of social media in a changing market. When the market is good, it's easy to make money in this business. It's not that difficult. I tell people all the time, if you weren't making money in this market, you need to reevaluate your business plan. I'm not talking about right now, the COVID-19 market. I'm talking about the previous market. And I tend to have a little bit more of a straightforward approach, especially with people that I work with quite a bit. So I tell people the market is really good right now. So if you're not crushing it, killing it, let's take a step back, reevaluate. As the market adjusts, you're going to see more and more people that are turning to the internet in order for them to be educated, for them to learn. Use this as an opportunity for you to be the one that establishes a sense of authority by educating both buyers and sellers. Educate them about the process of buying a home, selling a home, what's involved with that, and how we have an ever-changing market. It's really our responsibility to make sure that we're reading, that we're staying at the forefront, that we're reading the reports, the world reports, what's going on in the world. You should be following maybe an economist, somebody that has a proven track record, somebody that you trust. Personally, we follow Barry Habib, which he won an award from Zillow. He was recognized as the most on-point economist out of anybody. And I was part of a group where we had him on a video, and he said, my thought is, and this is just my projection, when we hit 1810 in the market, 18100, the market's going to bounce right back up. I think we hit like 18500, and bam, we saw that the market shoot up. Now, who knows if it's going to stay there, but it doesn't matter. If it's going to go up from 1810, 18500, if you're somebody who invests in the market, that all has an impact on us. It has an impact on us because of people's 401ks, how many clients will pull money from their 401k in order to buy a home, or simply they feel a sense of security knowing that they have that money in that 401k in the first place. So again, this is just more of an opportunity for you to be a true, and that's why point number 3 says real estate business for real estate professionals. And I should have put the word true in there. True real estate professionals, not just somebody that's going to unlock a door and somebody that's going to fill out an RPA, but somebody that can offer legit information based off of what you know to a client, so that way they can ultimately make their decision, but make an informed decision. And that's really social media. So the video I posted on my Facebook page is I'm talking about the market, and I'm sharing information that's relative to what I know. So it's just very important that we're constantly staying up to date with what's going on. Now, here's the last slide that I'm going to show you on this end here. This is hashtags. When you post on your Facebook page, you could also do this on Facebook, but it's not as effective. It's not really kind of used there. You can do it, but you're not going to see probably too much on it. But a hashtag is when you put in the pound sign and then you put in a word with no spaces. So my advisement for you is that if you're posting something that's real estate specific, you can post hashtag real estate. And then you could also fill in hashtag like your city. I would put hashtag Ontario, Ontario CA for Ontario, California, not Ontario, Canada. Ontario, California, I'd spell it all out. Because when you're on Instagram and you start typing out these words, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move on over to my my webpage. So I know you guys are going to see that in just a second. So give me 1 second here. I'm going to move back on over to my webpage so that way you can see. So Nancy, if you can just verify, you can actually see my Instagram page right now, correct? Hey Nancy, can you hear me?
Yes. Yep, we got it. I can see your Instagram.
Perfect.
And then I'm glad you're talking about Instagram right now, because we have a couple questions from those who were asking about Instagram. So for Linda asked about Instagram, personal and business, and then also Jean asked about personal and business Instagram. And so maybe you can touch on a couple of those. I see you're going to Instagram right now. So perfect timing.
Excellent. So great questions for those that asked about Instagram. That means we're on the same wavelength here. So here's what I did. I typed in the word or hashtag Ontario. So I live in the city of Ontario. Most of you are probably all familiar with the city of Ontario. So now when I type in Ontario, the only thing is that you'll see that there's Ontario, Canada. There's 180,000 posts that have Ontario, Canada. For Ontario, there's 8,749,000. So let's just go ahead and check out what are some posts that are related with the city of Ontario. Now there's a good chance that they're going to be Ontario, Canada, like this right here. This isn't Ontario. This isn't my city that I live in, nor is this probably Ontario. Yeah, we don't have a train running through the mountains. So this is where I would go back, and this is where you just want to take the time to kind of play around so you can be more familiar with your city. So now I typed in Ontario, CA, and you'll see Ontario, California pops up. Look at this, 93,550 posts for the post Ontario, California. So now I'm going to click on Ontario, California, because I know for sure, without a doubt, this is going to be for me. Now, I don't know what's going to pop up. So if there's anything out here that pops up that shouldn't, you know, there's only so much that I can do because I don't control this here. But if I just went in, let's just look at this. Okay, so this is cool. Brothers 4x4, I have no idea what this is. Now I look at this, Brothers 4x4, I could follow this page, or I could just look at it to see, like, what is this exactly? I'm going to click on this Brothers 4x4. Is this a business, or is this somebody personal? The premier 4x4 shop of San Bernardino. Trusted Jeep service and parts from mile to mile. We build your dream style. Now, would this be important for me to maybe connect with Brothers 4x4? I think it is extremely important and a phenomenal opportunity for you to connect with more people and local businesses that are operating within your market. So in this case, I might follow them, and I might come on in and even send them like a private message. And when you follow them, and if they approve it, now you can send them an actual message, and just send them a message to just say, hey, I'm also in the San Bernardino area. You know, great page. Maybe I take a look at their page, take a look at their post. Now, I'm somebody personally who I love Jeeps. I don't own one, but I've always thought I would love to own a Jeep. I think they're super cool. The Rubicons specifically are the ones that I think are just, oh man, such beautiful rides. So maybe I let them know about that. You know, if I ever decide to move forward and buy a Jeep, like, this is the place I would come and check out. But the whole idea behind this is that it gives you an opportunity to connect. There's a real person behind it, most likely an owner, a manager, something. And think about it. I told you about me connecting with somebody in the city of Rancho, a business owner who happens to be a bankruptcy attorney, right? So this is where there's opportunities that pop up like this. Here's Century 21 Prime Time. So this is a good example. This is a broker owner, Felix. So strength is in the struggle. So if we look at this, need help resources during this difficult time, ask me for the contact information. And then what they did is they put in hashtags, sell your home, buy a home, Inland Empire, Realtor, C21. So my advisement to you is that I want to introduce to you hashtags so that way you at least know what they are. How do we use them? You use them in your post, or you could even use them in the comment section of your post. And it's going to take time for you. Like in this case, they're tagging a bunch of cities within the Inland Empire: Rancho Cucamonga, Rialto, Colton, Redlands, Upland, Etiwanda. And this is all very smart. So if I now clicked on Fontana, hashtag, I'm clicking on the hashtag for Fontana. Now let's see what we find here. So when I type in Fontana, it looks as if maybe when we put Fontana, there is another part of the world that has the word Fontana in there. So it's not just going to be Fontana, California, but that's where we could be more diligent about making sure we look at different variations. Fontana, CA, or Fontana, California. So the ones that I like to use is I like to use the word like real estate. I like to add the word realtor, hashtag realtor, and hashtag buy a home, hashtag sell a home. I think those are all good, great, and relevant. And then if you typed in even hashtag real estate, you'll see house hunting, real estate, home for sale, realtor life, listing agent. So you can add various hashtags to your post. Now, if somebody was to do a search by way, let's just say I'm going to type in the word Lakers. Like I like the Los Angeles Lakers. There's 5 million posts. So when I type in hashtag Lakers, I'm going to be able to connect online with people that have posted on the internet, and they include the hashtag. So if somebody was to do a hashtag for the city of Ontario, or maybe they come across it, they click on it, it just gives you more of an opportunity to have more exposure. Now, the cool thing about your Instagram account as well is when we post stories, remember, when we're posting stories, that means that this is an opportunity for us to have our postings for 24 hours. When you post stories, there's a lot of little things that we can add. For example, we can identify our location. So I was at Big Al's in the city of Ontario when they first opened up. So I actually tagged Big Al's. I identified my location, so I put Big Al's. And then I put hashtag Ontario, California. And I posted a video of us bowling. And with doing that, I ended up getting like 700 or 800 additional views simply because I tagged that location. That's going to work best when it's popular locations. So if you're in the city, maybe you're tagging City Hall, maybe you're tagging your real estate office, maybe that's not too popular online, but it's just an opportunity for you to get some additional free exposure. In the same capacity that you can create a business page, the same thing holds true for Instagram as well, is you can create a business account and you have it associated with your personal account so you can toggle back and forth in between. If you guys follow me on Instagram, what I'll do is I'll include the steps just so that way you can see it right on my story. I'll include the steps shortly after this presentation here with how to create your Instagram account. So that way your business page. So that way you guys can all see exactly how that's done. And rather than me going through the mechanics here, I'd like to show you on my Instagram page because it'll be easier for you to follow. Nancy, are there any other questions that are coming our way?
Right now, let me see. People were asking about if this is going to be, if there's a recording of the session. Yes, there's a recording, and I'll give everybody the details at the end, so stay tuned. Also, we've got Sabrina who wants to know affiliates. So Sabrina's an affiliate with us, and I do recognize her, so hi, Sabrina. They want to know, is there differences between being affiliates and, our members are mortgage lenders and affiliates, and we've got inspectors, and we've got a bunch of different types of memberships with CVAR. So hers is for, how do you suggest affiliates use hashtags? For example, an NHD provider, would they still use hashtag realtor, hashtag sell a home, or stick with more for their particular business with hashtag NHD or natural hazard disclosure report, stuff like that?
I would say the more general, the better. So I would, if I was selling NHD, 100%, I'd put hashtag real estate, hashtag realtor, hashtag buy a home. I would use those general ones. And I don't think there's anything wrong with you also trying the NHD specific ones, but now you go from something that's like real estate general to now being really specific. So I think that you're going to minimize your opportunities there. And the good news is that I work with a lot of affiliates. And so I work very closely within the loan sector still to this day. I've spoken at various conferences for home inspections as well. 400 plus home inspection companies at one time out in Las Vegas a couple of times. And because all the information that we're sharing, it's 100% relevant no matter what product and or service you sell. And I mentioned earlier that I do trainings for Apple retail stores. And part of the reason is that we originally started off doing trainings just for the real estate community. And then that quickly changed where now the room was being packed with business owners, from people that own the little kids soccer camp to bakers to people who own restaurants. And then the medical field, I would literally have surgeons in our trainings at the Apple stores, dentists as well, because the whole social media concept is something that's so exciting that so many different businesses were out there trying to figure it out. And I was always impressed because in the medical world, it was usually, architect firms too, but you would have these business owners along with their marketing directors, but they never thought it was not important enough for them to be there. So they would be there together as a team and as a group. And I say this because think about it. If these people are out there, these business owners, these are also our clients as well. So you don't want to let ever your clients beat you to the punch on being more in tune with digital technology. Because I think if it matters anywhere in the world, it definitely matters in real estate more than ever before. And I can back that up with case by case examples and stories of us either beating other agents out on listings and us going on in and really getting what we want, charging a premium for what we want, even in comparison to agents that are offering less, because I'm a big believer, price is what you pay, value is what you get, and being able to back it up with some legitimate substance that people feel is true. They can touch it. It's tangible. They can see it and feel it.
Great. Awesome. Thank you so much. That really, I think that gives them a general idea of what we can do, what they should do. I think that's great. Thank you, John.
No
that's
problem.
it for questions that we have so far. I'm sure we'll have plenty more, but that kind of catches everybody up so far. So we're at 12 o'clock. We've got about a half an hour left. We're continuing on. Thank you so much.
Cool. Let's do this. So if I stop sharing my screen, what I want to know is that, am I just on screen now? So can you just see me?
Yeah, my screen is set to view speaker view.
Okay.
So there are a couple different options that you guys out there who are listening can choose. You can choose either speaker view or gallery view. My suggestion is on the viewing pane is to go to the top right-hand corner and select speaker view. And then it's just John and we'll be able to see you.
So I want to break down a couple of key things right now, because if you were to ask me, if I was your personal advisor, you hired me as your chief operating officer for your real estate business, one of the first things that we're going to do is we're going to break down the look of your brand. And I think in real estate, for some reason, the importance of branding and marketing, it's discussed, and maybe some people feel a certain way about it. They feel confident about their marketing efforts and or they don't. But I would say collectively as a whole, if I was to take the majority of most, marketing in real estate has been really pushed by the wayside. And to me, it makes no sense. Like I think, why would we do that, right? If we're constantly being evaluated, we're being judged, there's these new emerging companies and technologies that are out there that are basically saying, listen, we're substituting the value of a real estate agent. There's no reason to pay an agent what they're asking you when all you need to do is to download this app. And I get it. I'm not afraid by it. If anything, I feel like it excels and makes me better at what I do, because it's just like going to Las Vegas. I love going to Las Vegas. And guess what? There's a lot of hotels that I can stay at in Vegas. We can get a cheap room at the Motel 6. Maybe we stay at Circus because we're on a budget, or maybe we stay at the Luxor or the Excalibur, because these places are 1/3, 1/4 of the expense of staying at the Palazzo or the Venetian or the Bellagio. But if you look at those hotels, people stay there for a reason. It goes back to price is what you pay, value is what you get. So you got to ask yourself, what sense of brand representation do you want for you? If I stay at the Wynn, or if I stay at one of these more higher end hotels, I expect a different level of service. I expect people to be nicer to me at the other end of the counter. I expect my room to be spotless, to be clean. I expect when I call downstairs for my phone to be picked up, relatively quicker than if I was at a different hotel. Now, is that wrong of me to have different expectations? Well, I'm also understanding too that if I'm going to a less expensive hotel, that I'm probably going to get less as well, because for me, it's a trade. I'll spend less money, but I'm willing to give up here. So this is important for you to ask yourself as a real estate agent. What is your brand representative of? Like, what do you want to be able to personify to the buyers and to the sellers that you're dealing with? And the reason I say this is because I believe wholeheartedly in the value of a realtor who brings true and legitimate value to their clients. I think they are worth gold. And I feel like they should be treated as such. So if you really do believe that that is you, how do you get your message out there? How do we make sure that more people know about it? So here's what I would do if I were you. Learn to embrace your cell phone and learn to embrace video marketing in a way that you have never embraced it. Use this opportunity right now while we're at home, where you force yourself to get comfortable with video. When we're holding trainings, we will often ask everybody to stand up in the room, to grab their cell phones, to create a video. And I know it's one of these things where everybody does it, almost everybody does it. And they do it because collectively as a group, when you have 30, 40, 50 people doing it, you don't want to be the odd man out. So even if you're super uncomfortable, you make yourself do it anyways. And then we often hear from real estate agents where they're like, oh, you know what? It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that difficult. So now let's talk about some concepts. What type of video content should we create? Here's one. Go onto Facebook. Use it as a CRM. Facebook will tell you when people's birthdays are coming up. And they'll say that their birthday's coming up maybe in a couple days, or they'll say today is their birthday. I would advise that you grab your cell phone and you get into the habit of recording a video like this, where you say, hey, Nancy, this is John Reyes, and I just wanted to send you this quick message and wish you a happy birthday. I hope that today is everything that you want and more. And I just wanted to let you know that we're thinking about you. Have a great rest of the day. Boom, simple. And then Nancy, I would text you that video message. And if you got that video message, and if you don't mind just having giving me this response, honestly, if it was your birthday and somebody sent you a video message, say you're not in the real estate world, you're a teacher, you're a firefighter, nurse, whatever. Like, how do you think that you would feel if you received that?
That from somebody just reaching out. I just recently had a birthday and I had people reach out who I hadn't talked to in a long time. And that was really nice to know that they were thinking of me. So I do think it's a great thing to have just a little message out just to let everybody know that they're thinking of you. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and if any of you follow the market, what you'll see right now is that gold is doing really well. Maybe a couple of weeks ago, it was at a height that it had hit for about the last 6 or 7 years, $1,600 per ounce. It's gone down a bit since then. But my point is that gold's valuable. 1 kilo of gold is going to be worth $50,000. The reason I say this is because my message to the real estate community is that your ability to establish and to maintain human connection with your clients, it's going to be worth gold. It's worth gold in 2020. And it's worth gold because as our market evolves, we don't want to lose that sense of connection. We want to be able to make people feel that sense of comfort. And I just gave you a great example, something that is so simple and easy for all of you to do, that we can do it. There's no reason why we can't. I don't need any microphone. I don't need any editing whatsoever. Let me give you another example. I have this client that I'm working with. I'm actually speaking at a conference in Los Angeles. I'm speaking in downtown LA, doing a training for Century 21 for their big, huge worldwide conference. And I had a client call me. Well, when the client called me, I was in my training. So I sent him to voicemail, but I sent him a text message to let him know that I was in a training and that I would follow up with him the moment that I was out. And I gave him an estimated time. I already had that preset on my phone. So I said, I'm going to be out of my training at about 3:30 p.m. I'll give you a call shortly afterwards. So all I did was do the autoresponder to him. He leaves me a voicemail, and in his voicemail, he's asking me for an update on some documents that we need signed by the seller. So I could go ahead and call him and let him know that, but here's what I did. I actually grabbed my phone. I hit the record button. I said, hey, Milad, this is John. And then I got your voicemail. Just wanted to create this quick video to let you know, here's where we're at. The seller's going to be signing these documents. They're going to be doing it after work. They said that they should be able to have them signed and sent back on over by the end of today. So I'll touch base and connect with you probably around 7 p.m. But in the meantime, if you have any questions, if there's anything else that you need, as always, don't hesitate to reach on out to me. And then boom, I send him that message. And actually, I did it in downtown LA, so you can see the buildings behind me and everything. And I told him, yeah, I'm out here in downtown LA at this training. just got your voicemail. And then I said everything else that I said to him. And I sent it to him, and his response was, you are too good. Like, that's what he said. You are too good. So client updates, maybe you have a client update. Get into the habit of just embracing your video messages again. I also talked about you creating content. Walk a buyer through the process of buying a home. Walk a buyer through the process of selling a home. I would advise that you create a video talking about what a contingent sale is. We know that there's a lot of real estate agents that do really well with contingent sales, and unfortunately, there's a lot of agents who don't. So by you instilling a sense of confidence in somebody to let them know, listen, there's maybe some additional elements of complexity, but I'm very familiar with the process of X, Y, and Z. And you just let your client know about what value you're going to bring to them if they are in the process of both selling their home with the intent of buying their new one. I've been able to secure so many deals because of my ability to make people feel a sense of confidence about contingent deals. And usually it has to do with somebody that did not have such a favorable example. Let's talk market updates. There's so much news going on right now, and we're not looking to sit there and be the bearer of bad news. But you know what? At the end of the day, guys, our news to some degree needs to be objective. It's black and white. Here's what it is, but here's what that means for you. So I would advise that you embrace being somebody who follows the market, create some content, take a message that's this long and create a short, concise 30-second to 60-second version. Those are the type of videos that you can post on your Facebook page. Those are the type of videos that you can post on your Instagram, your stories, your business page. The idea is that the more that you do this, the better position you're going to be in order to establish yourself as an authority. Here's another one. How would you like to find out? How does a $200,000 or $300,000 condo in Fontana equate to $1.9 million in real estate business? I'll tell you how. So my sister-in-law goes on out to a property in Fontana, and she is showing a condo to a client. The client doesn't like the condo simply because it's too far east. It's almost all the way to the edge of the city. So the client's like, you know what? It's just too far from me. It's too far from my daughter. And unfortunately, that's not going to work for me. No problem. So the client ends up taking off. She leaves by herself. So then what my sister-in-law does is she grabs her cell phone. She records a video for a prospective buyer who's in LA. His name's Armando. And she's like, hey, Armando, I'm out here showing this condo to this client. And I thought about you and Jasmine. That's his wife. I thought about the two of you to think maybe you might have some interest in this. So she sends him that video. He responds back, asks a question about the property, which was real specific. He wanted to know about the HOA's availability. Well, she ended up picking up his deposit check later that day, drove the deposit check on over to the builder the very next morning because the client works during the week, secured his spot, and the client went in on Saturday in order to sign his deposit or his paperwork in order to buy that property. He closed on that home. My whole point is that the client loved the fact that she leveraged her time and, more importantly, made efficient use of his time because she sent him the video. He watched it. She posted that video on Instagram as well. She took out the information because she's actually talking to the client. Hey, Armando, check this out. Look at the bathroom. Look at this. Look at this. So when she created another video or the video, she took out the portion with his name and she just gave a walkthrough in the home, talked about the upgrades in the home, what comes with it, and she just kind of showed off the property. That's it. Well, somebody ends up hitting her up on Instagram and they say, hey, her name's Margie. Hey, Margie. And they said, I just saw your video and oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I didn't even think about you, but I just had an agent in my home to give me a value of my property. Do you mind meeting with me? So she ends up going on out to LA. She meets with this prospect. The prospect is in the process of selling their $700,000 home and buying a $1.265 million triplex. So if you add those two figures together, it's almost $2 million, not counting the purchase from the condo in the first place. And how did she do it? On her cell phone, simply walking through. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys. I keep talking about sending. You want to send these videos to your prospects. You want to get your videos on over to them. Well, how do we do that? This is exactly how we do it. So if you're looking at the screen here, this is something that if you've been to any of my trainings, I promote this and I promote this till I'm blue in the face. I've shown this for a couple of years because it's one of our most effective tactics and strategies. In fact, I spoke at an event in the Bahamas. I did a class, my listing presentation class. And just by way of doing my listing presentation class, I was given a 4-day trip, all expenses paid, and paid on top of that to do a 1-hour class. Tells you how valuable that class is, right? And I'm only speaking to top producers. You got to close 50 transactions just to be invited to the class. Otherwise, you're not invited. It's people from all across the United States. This tip right here, single-handedly, from top agents all across the country, is what I hear from most agents to tell me that this right here has made such a significant difference in their ability to communicate with their clients. They've increased their conversion rates with this right here. We call it strategic texting, but basically what it is that when you send a text, you can include a video in your text. So I texted, and this is a sample. I texted Matt, hey Matt, it was a pleasure speaking with you. And I have a red box around a video file that I've uploaded. That video file, it's short, it's concise, it's straight, it's to the point, but that video would be whatever is relevant to that message. So if it's talking to somebody about buying and selling a home, after I talk to them on the phone, maybe I record a quick video. Hey Matt, it was a pleasure chatting with you. I thank you very much for reaching on out to me and giving me the opportunity to share with you how I can go about helping you sell and buy your new home. As mentioned, we are confirmed for Wednesday at 11 p.m. or 11 a.m. In the event that you have any questions or you need anything in the meantime, don't hesitate to reach on out to me. Otherwise, I'll see you on Wednesday. Bam, simple as that. But sending text videos. This right here is one of your most effective ways in order for you to just move further along with your clients. Now I have right here, what if the video is too long? What if the video doesn't populate? That's fine. You should take your videos, put them on your YouTube channel. And when you put them on your YouTube channel, when you send a text, most smartphones, including Droids as well as iPhones, they will give an auto preview to the recipient. So when I send it on my end, this is what it looks like on my side. Now when they receive it, they're not just seeing the URL, it's popping up with the actual visual of the video. They click on that, it's gonna send them directly to your YouTube page. So here's what I would say that everybody in this room needs, and this is what I would ask of you kindly. Please do this. Don't be an agent that just watches this presentation and don't put it into play, because that's not gonna do you any good. We have enough of those in the business. Put this into play. Grab your cell phone and record a short 30-second to 60-second video where you introduce yourself and let people know your name, let them know the market that you service, and then give them 1 or 2 reasons as to why they should engage with you. Why should they care about the fact that you're an agent that could help them either buy or sell? I refer to this as an agent intro video. It's something that I think everybody needs. It's not a want, it's a need. Actually, I have a slide in here too that specifically calls it out. We call them digital business cards. A digital business card where you are breaking down and delivering your value to prospects. It gives you an opportunity to stand out from the competition. So I'll help you cheat a little bit just for the sake of time. What are some things that you can say? If you have considerable experience, let people know. Don't say I've been in the business for 10 years because now you're dating it. Instead say I've been in the business since, and then state the year. I've been in the real estate business since 2003. Now that's given me an opportunity to see a lot of changes in the market. We've had market ups and we've had market downs. But one thing that stays steady is this, and maybe it's your commitment to your clients. Or maybe you're tech savvy. You're somebody who actually loves using social media. Let people know about that. Maybe you're a great communicator. Let people know about that. Maybe it's the fact that you genuinely care about your clients throughout the transaction, not just from the start, but throughout the ending. My whole point is that you want people to just be able to see your face. You want them to be able to hear your voice, and it goes back to humanizing your brand. So I'm going to tell you this, and Nancy, if there's any questions, let me know, but I was just going to end up closing with this. I got a story about how I generated over 6 figures off of one open house, $100,000 in potential commissions that is currently being worked on now. Now, of course, with everything that we're going through, I feel like our business has been paused for a bit. So some of the business has been paused, but I'm still in connection with these clients. But before I get to that story, Nancy, are there any questions?
I just posted if anybody wants to ask any questions, now's your chance. Just make sure that you use that Zoom group chat to do so.
Got it. Perfect. Okay, so we held an open house in the city of Altaloma. We had mad traffic. I'm talking about a ton of people. In fact, this video here that you're seeing, I'm gonna play it right here. This is from the open house itself. I recorded it up and down because I intend on promoting this on my Instagram page. So let me show you another video. That's just nuts traffic, right? That's crazy. So my point in sharing that with you is this. My goal when I'm holding an open house, it's not just to try to find a buyer for that property. If people are there at that open house and they want to buy or if they want to sell, well, I'm thinking, why in the world would I not take advantage of the fact that we are face to face and they're a prospect and I'm an agent and I can help them with moving forward on buying and selling. So I'm going to give you guys right now, and this is kind of like a bonus. This wasn't even part of our training, but I have the time to do it. I got 6 minutes, so why not? I'm going to tell you the exact process as to how I went about getting literally 6 figures in deals here. Number one, what I did is that I first, when people walk in, we have them sign in. So we say, please sign in here. The sellers requested that we keep a log of each and every person that walks in through their home. And we do that with the intent to establish some sense of control. I want to be able to have control from the moment that they walk in. I want them to know that they're coming into my home, even though it's not my home, you know, it's my client's home, whatever. Then I give them a flyer and I say, feel free to look around. If you guys have any questions, of course, we're here. Open up any door, any drawer, make this home your home while you're here. And so they go around now looking at the house. If there's any specifics about the property that I want them to know, I'll let them know right then and there. Maybe it's about the upgrades or whatever it is. So I let them go about doing their business. They look at the house, and then I catch them before they walk out. And my series of questioning works like this. I say, so what do you think? You ready to pack your bags and move on in? And it doesn't matter what they say. They could say, no, you know what? This house just isn't for me. I say, okay, so how long have you been looking for? That's my second question. Identify a time frame. The first question was meant to be an icebreaker. So what do you think? Ready to pack your bags and move on in? Haha, little small chuckle, little small talk. So how long have you guys been looking for? Then I identify their locality. Now, is it just this area here in Alta Loma? Or are there any other surrounding cities and or communities that you're interested in? And I want to find out, how flexible is this client? Then I say, have you found anything that you like? Anything that's gotten your attention? And then I hear from what they say, you know what? There was one home that I really liked out in Rancho. Okay, what was it about that home that caught your attention? Oh, I love the open floor plan. And here's a 6-figure question. This is a 6-figure question right here. I say, let's just say that you found the ideal home at the ideal price. What's your time frame to make a move? And if they say like, oh, I'm ready to move in the next couple months, whatever, what I immediately do is I grab my cell phone and I say, you know what I'd love to do? I'd love to send you a text. And in my text, I'm going to include a video that gives you a breakdown of some of the cool things that my team and I do to be able to help our clients buy real estate in today's aggressive market. And then if you like what you see or if you're impressed by it, just simply send me a text back or give me a call. What's the best number to reach you at? Then I grab my cell phone and I lean into them and I stare at my phone like this and I don't say a word. And the reason I don't say a word is because if you do this the right way, people don't necessarily like awkward silence, right? So it's almost a knee-jerk reaction for them to start responding. And then they're like 909, boom, get their cell phone number. Perfect. And your name? Bam, I got that. I typed that into my notes. So now that I have that, I feel good. I have their information and I tell them what I'm going to do. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send you that text. And then if I don't hear from you, let's just say the open house is on Saturday. If I don't hear from you over the weekend, then what I'll do is I'll follow up with you on Monday just to get your thoughts on what I sent. Now, do mornings, afternoons, or do evenings work best? So what I did there is 2 things. Assumptive close. My assumption is that you're going to say it's fine to give you a call. Option or point number 2, it's the A or B close, right? Mornings, afternoons, or evenings work best. And then they say evenings. Perfect. I'll call you at 6 o'clock. And so I'm telling you this because I have a friend who is an amazing agent. And he actually went to the open house with me and he was floored by it. He was floored by how many names and numbers and appointments I booked off that open house. So much so that he ended up connecting with the powers that be at his company. And not even 48 hours later, I was doing a call with like 300 agents from all across the United States, from Canada, from Florida to New York, because they wanted to know about my open house process. But my point is it goes back to this call today. I'm leveraging digital technology in order to improve and to enhance my ability to communicate with my prospects, my clients. And number 2, I want to stand out. How many agents do you think texted them a video message that day? Not much. And I told you the value of human connection is going to be worth gold in 2020 and moving forward. And right now is a really good time and example to share that. Based off of that, I got a listing in Ontario. The lady is listing in Ontario. She's buying a new home. It's going to be a $525,000 listing. And their new home that they're purchasing is going to be a $650,000 purchase in the city of Rancho, Cucamonga. And I got a listing out in the San Dimas market. And that lady's buying a $500,000 property. She's selling a condo, buying a property. That was procured from what we're discussing right here. And this isn't even counting the other buyers that we're working with. People that aren't selling, but people that are just strictly buying. And it was a very structured, methodical approach that I went through in order to gain these results. And seriously, guys, I could tell you, it just, the way that it works like magic. It kind of trips me out. And it's one of these things that when it works, you know, why try to fix it? Just put it into play and be effective with it. Nancy, any questions that came in at all?
People are just asking if we can see the video that Erica had asked, can we see the video you shared? I don't know if you're asking the video that you specifically shared, John. Erica, if you can hear us, can you be more specific? Or if we can see the actual re-recording of the session that we're doing here and now. I'm not too sure, but I do have information on that part. The one that you share with open house leads.
Oh yeah. So yeah, that's not a problem at all. In fact, let me go ahead and see let me do this. I'll capture this right now. I can share it with you because I have it. And that's a great question. My video, as I'm pulling it up, it's 44 seconds. And it's very clear, concise, straight to the point. Mine has a little bit more production value behind it, but for all of you, you could either, this is what we do as a company, in case you guys don't know. We're a company that produces and creates videos for realtors. Now, this isn't meant to be a pitch for us. Of course, we could assist you with it, or you can just record it right off your cell phone. Either way. So I'm going to go ahead and play it, and hopefully the audio will come through on this.
Hi there. My name is John Reyes with Move Fast, Move Now. And chances are, if you're watching this video, we can either on because you're thinking about buying or selling real estate. I'd love the opportunity to speak with you so that way I can share how my team and I are able to better service our clients by leveraging the latest in digital technology, social media, video, and communication in order to enhance the overall experience for both our buyers and our sellers. So if you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to me directly by giving me a call or sending me a text, whatever works best for you. Otherwise, I look forward to following up and having a conversation. Thank you so much and have a great rest of the day.
Did that come through, Nancy? Were you able to see that?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, cool. So thank you for that question. Excellent.
Good. Okay. Other than that, I just have people thanking us for the time today. It is 12:30, so we'll do a little wrap up. And our thank yous. Thank you so much, John, for being here today. We really do appreciate it. All your information was excellent. For everyone listening out there, I just want to let you guys know that we are hoping to have this up. The replay of our session today will be up on our education site, which is www.cvar.live. That should be up there the earliest by Friday. And also, CVAR has a podcast platform. So if you guys haven't joined us for one of our CVAR podcasts, check out. You can just look at Citrus Valley Realtors Podcast. You can check that out on iTunes. I personally use Podomatic. It's an app on my phone. You can search Citrus Valley Realtors Podcast for the audio replay of the session today, and cvar.live for the video. And check back on Friday. That should be posted then. And also, John will appreciate this, and Mark, our CEO, as well. If anybody has an Alexa, you can always ask your Alexa and say, Alexa, search for Citrus Valley Realtor Podcast. And you can get the information straight from Alexa, and she'll play it right there. So again, just a lot of thanks from our participants here today. And again, John, thank you so much for joining us today. We really do appreciate everything you're doing for our industry, especially now. And I hope that our viewers and listeners today got some really great information that they can take back and better their business. So thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
All right, everybody, that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining us. Till next time, don't forget to check out cvar.net, cvar.net for our education calendar and see all of our classes that are coming up soon. Thanks so much and have a great day, everyone.